Welcome to Mount Hood, America's most climbed mountain. I'm Clackamas County Sheriff Craig Roberts, and we've teamed up with Portland Mountain Rescue to show you some things that can keep you safe on the mountain.
When I found out that most people, most of their rescues don't have an MLU, that was pretty surprising because $5, I've rented that every time.
So these are Mountain Locator Unit, and so can you tell me how they work?
Yeah, this is the MLU, or Mountain Locator Unit, that was designed for use on Mount Hood. It's the only mountain in the world in which this is used. And why don't you go ahead and open it up and actually activate it. So you pull that red ball, and when that yellow block comes out, this little tab automatically, or that little toggle switch automatically turns on. What just happened is this is broadcasting a signal, but nobody's listening for it. If you activate that, you also have to call 911, because then the rescuers will come up, they'll actually bring the receiver, and they can track where you are. Now they're pretty simple. They're just a directional tracker. We can find your here versus here. And matter of fact, I have the actual tracker. It's Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. It's the exact same technology, and we just have to scan and figure out, oh, he's in that direction. So we'll start walking that way and hopefully find you.
So what I was really surprised about is, so as soon as I pull this, I'm just not going to suddenly see Portland Mountain Rescue showing up on the to pull me off the mountain. Is that right?
Nobody's listening. There's only a few receivers in the state, and they're sitting packed away in a garage until a rescue starts. We have to get them out, turn them on, and then go out and search for you. The MLU is really used when we just don't know where you are. And it can be very valuable in that case, but most of what we do are actually rescues rather than searches. We know where the injured person is.
Right. And so if somebody's knocked unconscious or unable to pull this, it's not going to help them in that way either,
No.
Obviously.
No, it won't. And it also works line of sight. If you're down in a gully, we're probably not going to get a signal until we're right on top.
Some of the advantages of the MLU is that they are easy to operate. They are inexpensive to rent. Most Portland outdoor stores that rent climbing equipment will also rent MLUs for about $5. You can also rent one from the Mountain Hood Inn in Government Camp. The MLU signal can pinpoint a climber's location. The signal gets louder as you approach the activated device. The MLU signal penetrates snow, therefore it works in a snow cave. It also has long range and long battery life. Some of the disadvantages of the MLU: it can only be used on Mount Hood. The MLU only provides a direction in which to search. It does not give the rescuer coordinates. Tracking a directional signal is much more difficult than knowing coordinates, which both increases hazard and the amount of time it takes to find you. The MLU signal can also bounce off or be blocked by terrain, such as a cliff or a large obstacle. And it requires both activation of the device and a 911 call to start a rescue. The advantages of the Personal Locator Beacon, or the PLB, are that when activated, the PLB sends a high-strength satellite signal, which gives law enforcement a broad location on a map in which you are located. It also emits a homing signal, which works as a directional signal, similar to the MLU, that rescuers can follow to your location. Newer models of the PLB provide a complete set of GPS coordinates as well. Activation of the PLB initiates a rescue response. Some of the disadvantages of the PLB: the battery life is only 1 to 2 days once activated. When your device has been activated, you have to send it back to the factory for a battery replacement. Just like the MLU, the directional homing signal of the PLB is affected by terrain and can bounce, deflect, or be obstructed. Currently, devices which have GPS capability use a lower strength satellite signal which requires an unobstructed view of the sky. The PLB requires registration with the appropriate national authority. There are a variety of different GPS tracking and messaging devices. Some of the advantages is that they provide actual GPS coordinates, so the user can be located on a map. They use standard AA batteries. They activate a rescue when the 911 or SOS button is pressed, as long as there is good satellite reception. The climber may report his status without activating a full search and rescue response. And many devices allow for tracking the user's progress, such as the popular Google Maps platform. Some of the disadvantages are that GPS devices need an adequate view of the sky. The lower strength GPS satellite signal may not work under dense tree cover, buried under snow, or in a gully. In addition, there's a service which requires an annual subscription for the device to work. One other popular device is the cell phone or PDA. One of the advantages is that most people own one. They are also able to pass on detailed information, for example, the subject's condition or survival capability. And they are two-way communication devices, which is very helpful. Some of the disadvantages, though, of cell phones is that service is limited on Mount Hood and varies greatly between providers. Cell phone batteries are impacted by the cold. Some batteries die within minutes of being in the cold, some last hours. It just depends on your device. Cell phones may not provide rescuers with an accurate location. The subject may communicate a wrong location based on their misconceptions. Cell phone triangulation, in which experts attempt to locate a subject by pings from the cell phone, can take up to several days. In the end, there is no one perfect device. Technology is advancing rapidly in this area, with enhanced features rolling out annually. Emergency signaling devices provide climbers with an important tool in the event of an accident, but they do not absolve them from the responsibility of proper preparation. Electronic devices may fail. They require conscious activation, and by no means do they guarantee that rescuers can promptly reach a subject in all conditions. We may know where you are, but if you can't survive until we can get there, then it is pointless. Sometimes you may have to survive days at a time. Don't rely on a messaging device to save your life. Rely on common sense, your experience, and good preparation. Climbers must take it upon themselves to know the route, know the conditions, be prepared, and have a backup plan.